What did you like most about camp? Some surprise players, maybe? Or?
Yeah, I thought it was a really good camp, a little bit short in format than what we've done in the past. It seemed like it was just the right amount of time with when you have 48 players. We cut out the scrimmage this year, but we still got the competitive aspect in it, tried to build throughout the last few days. So nice opportunity to see. It's a lot of players to look at, but the free agents that we invited in then are drafted players, having a look at our new picks with players like Hopkins and Koblar, and just getting a chance to see their skill, and also the age difference. You've got 17, 18-year-olds versus 24-year-olds in there, so you factor that in as well. But I thought it was a good week overall.
What sort of first impression did he make on you in this camp?
He's a very serious kid. Comes from, I think, a family and a background of understanding what training and work ethic is all about. With the Olympic history with his parents, seems to have he doesn't give up much on the ice. He gets pushed around a little bit and then he pushes right back. So like what I saw there, and some good offensive instincts. So he'll be staying for another week or so. We'll be working with him here in the facility, and he's been a bright spot in camp.
Hopkins is a guy that, when talking to the players in the other group, stood out. What stood out about his camp?
Yeah, he stood out for me as well, just because of his hockey sense. He made some really nice plays. Not an overly big kid, not an overly fast kid, but you notice him out there many times just by the ability to complete plays and put the puck on people's sticks. So it was nice to see. That's kind of what we saw of him in the draft as well, and it seemed to translate the last few days.
You saw the guys wearing the work shirts, and I'm just wondering, is there a theme or a message that you wanted all the prospects to take out of this week?
Yeah, the theme this week we talked a lot about was the details matter. The difference often between making it from this level to the next and the next is the little things that you do when nobody's watching. So we talked about the details from on the ice, but also off the ice, the way you train, you carry yourself, you eat, you work out in the gym. All those things add up over time, and consistency over time is often what separates.
When you look at the horse stuff that you guys did, do you feel like you got what you wanted out of that exercise?
Yeah, the horse, a lot to be made about the horse, but if you ask myself and Shane Doan, we loved it, but we grew up around horses, but it was fantastic. The way, the whole point of that is to do something a little bit different, but with a point of leaving the players thinking maybe a little outside the box. When you do a development camp, you're trying to develop these guys as much on the ice as off the ice. And so with Jeff Davis and what he was able to do, tying in the ability to, trust, respect, teamwork. The horse is sort of like a young prospect developing, and the way in which they work together. I thought it was a really unique exercise. I think quite a few of the players liked it and were a little bit surprised. They didn't know what they were walking into, but at the end, a lot of good comments. So I think it worked out.
Last year, Nathan Mays was kind of an amusing story for us last year, last player picked and all that. But he's here again. He's had better numbers last year. What do you think of his development within the last year?
Yeah, he's really improved. I think Nathan, if you saw him in this camp, he's got flashes of offensive ability. He's scored some really nice goals in the WHL, and for him, it's finding the sweet spot of who he is going to be as a defenseman. Is he more of a defensive defenseman with an offensive ability? But he skates well. He's got good hands, and he's a big body out there. And so I thought he had a good camp the last few days, and he's kind of coming out of his shell a bit as well.
Any kind of marching orders or whatever from these guys? Resource materials to take home during the summer? What's their message there as far as that's?
Yeah, for any of the players that are in our organization, we have everything available to them, whether it's strength and conditioning, nutrition, on-ice opportunities. That's all there. And the advice is take advantage of it. It's here for you. The free agents that will follow along, and if they are in our system at some point in time, they'll have the same opportunities. But there's everything a player could want available here, and it's just about taking advantage of it.
Some of the prospects were saying that it was cool to see Tavares on the ice skating and looking like he's on top of his game on Friday. How much of that is helpful for you guys in the development program? How much can you hold him up as a role model?
Well, it was interesting when Mark Giordano spoke to the players yesterday. One of the players asked, who are some of the best pros you've ever been around, and his first answer was John Tavares. I've trained with John myself over the years, and he's just the ultimate pro. he doesn't leave any details unturned, and he has a plan for himself. And so one of the cool things about doing development camp is we have these guys that are skating before some of the pros that are in town. So we give the players a chance to watch them, ask them questions, an opportunity to just see, oh, that's what it takes to get to that level. And John is the epitome of that.
Yeah. I was going to say, Giordano's speech you mentioned, for the undrafted guys, for the guys who are maybe have a bit of a longer path, how valuable do you think that was?
I think there's a lot of players sitting listening to Gio that said, that's me, and that could be me. The career that he had being undrafted, coming in, and eventually winning a Norris Trophy is really an incredible story. But when he starts to speak about the road and how much commitment and effort and what he learned along the way, I think probably those players sitting there listening go, I can do it, but boy, it takes a lot of work to get there. And so it's nice to have these guys around that can just share stories very informally with the players. I think they get a lot out of it.
That was my question. Perfect.
What do you hope to see different out of Ben's game when he comes back for training camp?
I don't think Ben has to do anything different. He just needs to be more of what he is, which he's a great skating puck transporter. He can play physical when he has to. He's great at playing up in the play. I think just the calm around his game, picking his spots more, knowing that he doesn't have to do two different jobs on the ice. Sometimes he tries to, because he skates so well, you can skate yourself right out of the play a little bit. And so it's just actually calming that down and being a little bit more of who he is and trusting in himself. Yeah.
You were friends with Menno Raume. What it was like having Nick here? He mentioned that you have a relationship with his aunt.
Yeah. Menno and I still are, but we were really good friends. We played on the national team together. She was a mentor to me, and I really admired how she navigated that whole NHL situation and just was a great teammate. So, when I see Nick, I see Menno, and they look similar in a lot of ways. And he's just a really nice kid and wants to play professional hockey so badly, works as hard as he possibly could. So that whole family with his dad Pascal and Menno, like that, there's no surprise that he's willed himself to this point in his career. Yeah.
What are you going to remember about this week?
I feel like last year coming in I was a bit nervous and everything. This year I got to soak in a little bit more, maybe because I wasn't as stressed out and stuff, knowing a lot of people coming into this. I think the 3 days that we were on the ice, it was really helpful. We worked on transition, rush, and compete, and they really wanted us to know that that's kind of what the NHL game revolves around. So I'm really going to take that away from this camp, knowing those things. It was a bit of an eye opener, a lot of give and goes, a lot of chips. You got to move your feet at all times. So that was really helpful to get to know that kind of stuff.
What's an example of something that you learned this week? It's obviously all about development. You hear off the ice seminars. You mentioned the on the ice. What's an example of something that you think you learned this week?
There's so many things from all the seminars we're doing, from